Alright, hey everybody. Okay, so in this video, I'm just going to do, just a current update on the current status of the level editor and everything like that. Just to kind of show off what's going on with it. I'm in the process right now of, on the to-do list, is the reworking of the editor so that I have it on the pawn instead of on the player controller. And there's quite a bit that needs to be done, but since it's already been done before, it's really just going to be a matter of, just retooling it and everything like that. And that actually shouldn't really be that difficult. But there's actually a lot of other stuff that happened as well, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show it off. So, you'll notice that when things first start out, there's actually like a loading screen. For some reason, the loading screen doesn't work 100% correctly yet, but everything now correctly loads properly from the your name, the player, the game instance properly loads the name of the character and everything like that. It works pretty much the same way in single player when I just have like a build to work with or something like that. So manage your mods now perfectly fine. Like everything seems to work fine. I can make my own level. I can duplicate an existing level. It's all pretty straightforward stuff. I can directly just decide to edit. I can choose to go offline. Since he was the server, both of them end up loading at the same time. Um, when you're in standalone mode, some things happen a little bit differently with the HUD. For example, you don't see the message window. You don't have to worry about having like the ability to type or whatever and stuff like that. So this character on the top left can now choose between one of the maps that I currently have available. Right now, whether or not you specify editor mode is irrelevant. There's a bug where starting in regular, in the standard combat mode, where it's optimized and should load instantly, doesn't happen correctly. But let's see. So, but that'll get fixed eventually and stuff like that. So let's see. Okay, so now I'm in, and you'll notice that I'm in. There's a little button. If you're the server, you have a little bit of control over what other people can do while they're in your instance. This is just editor mode. So there's two places where you can do this. This is my own control up here. But if 12 people join, they'll only be able to access a couple of options rather than all of them. And then if you find somebody that you don't want to have any of the options, you can just disable them. It disables them down here for them, and or you can go ahead and just turn them on by default. Obviously, if you're the server, it's 100% for you. You can do whatever you want on your own server. So let's take a look over here as being in the client. Currently, right now, this only works on LAN, where we can be able to see our servers. The server browser does not work outside of that. Not until I get Steam integration, which is probably, I don't know when that's ever going to happen. Instead, you'll have to directly connect with IP address, which is going to be kind of weird because I want to do streams where people are allowed to just join, freely and be able to watch as things are being done and stuff like that. In this particular case, uh, you'll have to do it with an IP address, so that means it's kind of a security issue for me. I'll probably have to use like a VPN or something so that I don't always have the same IP address or something like that. I don't know, so that it's easier for me to switch things up. But either way, whatever works. So now I can join the default server name, one of 16. I got a 30 ping. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna join it. Now, something weird right now happens where the loading screen doesn't properly show up. It's a little strange, and I believe that, yeah, you can even kind of half see people moving around. Um, then the loading screen kicks in. It's weird. It's weird. I'm not really sure what's causing that. Not a big deal. Easy to fix. There's like some small issues like that right now. Like for example, the client For some reason, the nameplates over, that float over your head are broken again, and I'll have to figure out why those are broken. It's stupid things like that, little tiny things like that, that are kind of annoying. So you'll notice that as I join by default, I only have access to combat or possess monster. Uh, Combat mode is just basically where you can run around the map, with your guns and everything like that. I do plan for that to be something that is supported, but as of right now, the functionality isn't there. Um, my main concern right now is getting editor mode to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give permission to the newly joined client to be able to do everything that I want to be able to do. You'll notice that down here those things now became available to me. And then from here I'm going to switch into editor mode. Now editor mode will have if you've seen older videos, you've already seen me in editor mode before. But basically I have up to this point I have editor mode in a functional state up to the point where you can get into editor mode, and now I'm just starting to hook up all of the you know the details for like being able to move around and fly and switch between flying and walking mode and things of that nature. And while you're in editor mode, you always have the ability to switch back to spectate mode. So that's just part of your toolbar. So the toolbar will come out all the way over here to like giving you a ton of different like little options and stuff like that. So that's kind of the idea, is that the toolbar for each of the different modes that you can go into. In combat mode, the toolbar will literally just be your guns. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, and then there'll be like go back to spectate mode or something option that you can choose in a different location. But for the most part, if you're playing the game normally, like without actually having the editor mode available and stuff like that, it won't even be there. All you'll see is your melee weapon, your pistol, your shotguns, your rifle, your sniper rifle, your grenade launcher, your rocket launcher, and your advanced weapons. You know, and they'll each all have their own bar, because the way I'm doing is limited charges for every object. Every object has its own number of charges rather than depending on ammo or action points. All you do is you just look at the charges of the item itself. So your healing item only has 3 charges, so you can only use it 3 times. You might want to find a healing item that has 4 charges, but it's not quite as potent. You know what I mean? So there's like this is just like a different mentality. Of course, that stuff's all Revulsion 2 functionality. There's going to be a lot of Revulsion 2 stuff kind of just sitting in this, waiting for me to actually fully implement it. While I utilize this and market this as the level editor for Revulsion 1. The Revulsion 2 level editor is going to have an awful lot of Revulsion 2 stuff kind of just floating around like that. But whatever. As long as it's usable, I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine. So yeah, that's the current state of things at the moment. I just need to be able to get things back to where it was, where you remember where you can see the builder mesh floating in front of you. If you look at older videos, you'll be able to see this for yourself. Like, that's where you can actually place the objects, or you can select an existing object and then manipulate it further and stuff like that. All those things will now be available when I simply switch into editor mode. Now, I guess that's it. I don't think there's really much else to say, actually. I was thinking that maybe there would be more to add. Yep, you have full control over these things. Obviously, there won't be monsters or spawning monsters until I actually have Revulsion 2 monsters and stuff like that to deal with. But I kind of like having these things there, so that they remind me of what the design of the game, what the overall design of the game is entailing. So like people being able to join freely and sort of be able to start controlling monsters. Like if you're just playing with your friend and you're just playing co-op or whatever, and you have your max client set to more than 4 people, or it's just you and the other person, and you're both just playing regular co-op, and somebody can join, and all of a sudden now you're dealing with like um, slightly smarter monsters. Like, what the fuck? Like, how is this happening? Why are, how did that demon know to hide behind the wall and try to jump out at me? Or, you know what I mean? Kind of stuff like that. So you never really kind of know whether or not somebody actually is actually controlling the monsters. I guess you would end up knowing because you would end up seeing someone join the game. But yeah, I mean, it's all just kind of like it's all just kind of part of the idea of like allowing people who aren't who play in different modes, sort of like a versus mode or something like that. I imagine that like even Spawn Monster could probably have kind of like a limit on like how often you can do it. So like you only get like one charge, and then the charge recharges takes like a couple minutes to recharge. So you have to like be careful like how you can spawn an additional monster if you really want to, and maybe like the more expensive monster will cost more and it'll take longer for you to recover. Kind of weird shit like that. I don't know. I kind of want to have fun with it. It'll end up being sort of a quasi versus mode, but I think it's just going to be integrated with the regular game. So while you're just playing regularly, it's something that can just happen unless you specifically make sure that it can't by limiting the number of people who can join the server by turning the max clients down. So it's literally just like a core aspect of the game. But yeah, okay, so that's pretty much where I'm at. That's the status of things. Whoever the server is can click a little button, and that button allows you to control what other people can do while they're while they're in the server. You also have the kick button, so if someone's being a dick, you can get rid of them. Um, Stuff like that. So you'll notice that. Oh wait, because I'm in edit mode. My permissions. Oh yeah, yeah, that's true actually. If somebody revokes edit mode, that should kick you out of edit mode. So that's just gonna be have one of the things I have to be watchful of is like if something happens where somebody kicks you out of edit mode, or you disable edit mode, that should immediately boot you out of being in that mode. Alright, so the chat is working too. Hello everyone. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit on my like over in the corner next to my face, but oops. So with that, all right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and uh end the video here. I'm probably gonna just jump right into doing a live stream. I'm just gonna actually play something. I think that I get a little bit too much into my dev live streams, so I may actually try and approach things from a different angle where I actually kind of kick back and like enjoy streaming, where I'm not always just doing dev stuff. So I'm probably gonna play some Overwatch for a little while, maybe a couple hours, and kind of kick back, and from there I'll um, I don't know about tonight. I guess I don't know. I'll see what I'll do. But yeah, with that said, all right. Take it easy, guys.